Today, it's the Houston Rockets versus the Phoenix Suns.
The heat of summer, over 100 degrees outside, and this semifinals in the West coming to a boil inside. The America West Arena, 19,000 fans for Game 4, and suddenly with this series, no one can win at home. And we want to remind you, we'll keep you in touch with Indianapolis, the Indiana-Atlanta Hawk game, as those of you are particularly concerned about these two teams. Join us here on NBC. And Houston back in it because of that hot shooter, Mad Max.
Well, you know, that's been an interesting story for the Houston Rockets. Who will help the dream? It finally turned out to be Maxwell, who lived up to his reputation. 18 points in the third quarter of play, and from that point on, Houston had their shooters back and their confidence back. Maxwell gave me the secret. He said, if I don't talk to Frank Johnson, I'm okay.
And as hot as Vernon Maxwell was in Game 3 was the coldness, the iciness of the star Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns.
And Charles has been the story for the last couple of days since Game 3. What happened? Barkley said, I just wasn't aggressive. I should have been out there making something happen. I guarantee Game 4, I'm going to make something happen, good or bad.
Sir Charles not happy, and he put that in his own words.
For me to go a whole half and only score 2 points is a joke. I mean, for me to have 16 points in one half and 2 in the second half, that's inexcusable.
And it's the dream, Hakeem Olajuwon for the Houston Rockets. Some say the most valuable player in the league, ready for Game 4. Okay, talk to me, because I couldn't hear you very well there, David. Okay, but I just okay. No, I did hear that, but you're really faint. I hear you. I think my ears are still ringing from yesterday. Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Okay. And then I throw to Hannah.
So who's my camera guy?
Ladies and gentlemen, the coaches, basketball. Assistant coaches Lionel Hollins and Scotty Robertson. The trainer, Joe Roski, and assistant trainer, Aaron Nelson. He's the starting lineup for your Phoenix Suns. California number 7, KJ Kevin Johnson. And guard from Central Michigan number 9, Dan Marley. At center, Mobile Olympian number 41, Mark West. At forward from Bell State, Fullerton number 23, Cedric Sabalos.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. The starting lineup for the visiting Rockets of Houston. Vernon Maxwell had that big game, 34 points, Game 3. Kenny Smith will compliment him with his outside shooting. On the front line for the Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon. What a great player, and he's had a great playoffs to complement what he did during the regular season. Robert Horry and Otis Thorpe, two giants on the front line for Rudy Tomjanovich. Tomjanovich's team started this year 15-0 to tie the best ever NBA beginning. For Phoenix, Kevin Johnson, he scored 38 in Game 3, wasn't enough. Dan Marley, always a threat with that three-pointer. On the front line, Mark West will start. Cedric Sabalos, the drifter, underneath, always looking for those easy twos, and Charles Barkley willing to take the credit and the blame, as we saw after Game 3. Paul Westphal, whose team had a Phoenix record last year when they won 62 games, and they came away with 56 this year.
The focus of the Phoenix Suns is to be aggressive throughout. This is going to be an offensive game, as it has been an offensive series, but One team is going to have to be able to shut the other down. The Phoenix Suns will try to set the tone early. The Houston Rockets, on the other hand, they believe they're the better defensive team, and they will try to counter funneling everything into Olajuwon and try to get some opportunity points at the outset of this game.
Both coaches said they think the game will be won by the best backcourt. Do you agree with that?
I do agree, and I think that it has proven to be the case because the backcourt of the Houston Rockets broke down in games 1 and 2 and came to life in game 3.
Olajuwon and West, and Phoenix controls the opening tap, and Kevin Johnson brings it in. So tough off the dribble. And he takes the first shot. Rebound to West. Marley with Maxwell. Marley for 2. Oh, what someone has thought, boy. Someone has almost catapulted him into the air. At the other end, it's Smith to Olajuwon. Ori on his drive, and that'll be an offensive foul on Ori. Got himself midair, and the Suns defender turned his back for the rebound, and Ori climbed it.
Ori committed himself a little bit too early, and Mark West was there. Looked like the call really should have gone for Robert Ori because West moved in.
Barkley, and Corp has done a good job on him, even though Barkley's had his share of points, and the first effort by Sir Charles goes over the top.
The one thing that Houston showed in that first possession was some ball movement. They did not stand. Even though the ball ended up in Olajuwon's hand, he attacked off the dribble and broke down the defense, and that's going to be what the Houston Rockets will try to do the entire afternoon.
Into Olajuwon. Double team. Tries to work his way free, and it comes out to Mad Max. He can't hit his first shot. Ori keeps it alive, but then loses it out of bounds. Ori, who nearly was a member of another ball club.
No, he was almost exiled to basketball prison. He go to Detroit, and as much rebuilding as they have to do, Ori was happy that trade didn't go through.
That was for Sean Elliott. Kevin Johnson. Neither team able to score, and that'll be a push-off on Mark West.
Olajuwon more vocal with the officials in this particular game than he has been in any other. Right at the outset, he is telling them, watch Mark West over the back. He finally gets a call. So I think that we're going to see both the superstars, both 34s, really trying to take control of their team.
No score, a minute and a half gone. Give and go, and finally it's Olajuwon. Has the first points of the game. 10-20 remaining in the opening quarter. Johnson with that drive. He made basket after basket in the second half in game 3. Maxwell did too. Rattles out and Barkley rebounds. Johnson to Sabalas. Boy, how he can get his body turned to make shots in tight quarters.
He slithers and slides along the baseline as well as anybody playing the game right now. And what the Rockets have to make sure they do is get transition defense. The Phoenix Suns want to run.
Maxwell back to Olajuwon, blocked by West. And a foul from behind. I believe Ori got Kevin Johnson. No, it's Olajuwon with a foul.
The mistake that Kenny Smith made on that play was to run to Charles Barkley, and that opened up the penetration. Kevin Johnson creating things, finds the ever so clever Sabalas on the baseline.
Ever so clever. Suns 4-2. KJ, offensive foul, no basket. Johnson.
This is not the official that you want to run down and get in his face. He accidentally gave Kenny Smith an elbow. Smith reacted, and the call went against Kevin Johnson. He sets up right here. Kenny Smith will put his hands on him right there. He gets pork chopped right underneath the eye. Kevin thought he had 2 and 1.
Instead, he gets 0 and a foul. Stan Javi is the official, along with Steve Javi, sorry. Dick Pavetta.
You could get tossed out.
Yeah, that's right.
He's done
knows. Otis Thorpe. What a role player he's been, and perhaps one of the underrated players in the entire league. He's been hitting 16, 18, 16 throughout the playoffs, plus he's asked to guard Barkley.
He has been real critical to their success, particularly against Barkley, because he can guard him one-on-one.
Barkley can't get it down, and Olajuwon picks it up for Houston. Here come the Rockets on the run with Vernon Maxwell. Blocked by West, his second. Save to Olajuwon. Barkley. Now it's 6'4.5". He can now jump in the half-foot tall. Uses that body so well. KJ and Sabonis loses it to Olajuwon, the most valuable player in the NBA this year again.
Look down at the other end, and in that last exchange, Maxwell got hammered by Barkley, came back, gave him a little pat in the back, and Barkley looked at the official and said, "What was that? If you're calling fouls, let me have that one."
Olajuwon with a jump hook, and Houston leads at 6-4.
Kenny Smith has got to try to go forward on Kevin Johnson. If he retreats, that allows the Suns to get started.
Thorpe takes it all the way and sets up Horry. And the visitors lead 8-4. It's interesting that in the regular season, both teams won both games at home, and Indiana late in the fourth quarter, leading substantially over the Atlanta Hawks, trying to go up 3-1. Kevin Johnson scores. He has 4.
Kevin Johnson is the guy that kept him in the game in Game 3 with that kind of penetration. Kenny Smith is going to have to do a better job.
Horry, a good three-point shooter for a big man, and he has the tray. 11-6 Rockets, 5 for Horry. Barkley over Thorpe. That's his first points. It's a very hot day outside, an early start here in Phoenix, a noon tip-off. This crowd not quite as vocal as we have heard at America West during the course of the playoffs and regular season.
I think that they're nervous about this game, Dick, and that they saw their team with the early lead and they ended up losing it, and the Houston Rockets won going away.
Mark West, who has that problem, picks up 2 quick fouls. Start of the game.
He's trying to get the calls for them. He was working on him during that timeout. He told him to get out of his face, but he stayed in it.
That's Paul Mahalik.
You see.
Yeah, at the start of the game. This is, I'll take it. He's a mix.
At the end.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
At the end. Yeah.
No spit. Yeah. Okay. Larry Smith looking pretty sharp over there, isn't he?
Mr. Mean?
Yeah. I thought he took a college job.
No. He played
He was
San Antonio and then got the job in Houston. So he's been with Rudy his second year.
Yeah, but didn't he interviewed for Alcorn or one of those?
He might have interviewed, but he's from Alcorn.
Is he? I always liked him. I thought he'd be a good coach. I think he'd have his respect.
No, but he's
Quiet?
Yeah, he's awfully quiet. Awfully quiet.
back to America West, and while we were away, Charles Barkley picked up a technical foul as he chewed the fat with Paul Mihalik. Let's listen. Well, he was arguing for Mark West that if you're going to call it, and he says, yeah, okay, I'll take the technical, call it at that end as well.
The problem for Barkley is that now for the next 40 minutes, he has to really hold his tongue, and this is an important game. Now, he's still looking at Paul Mihalik and daring him to call two.
12-8 is Kenny Smith. It's the technical. Well, this isn't, he's pushing his luck, and of course it is part of the style, and the official doesn't want to throw out a star. Smith for three. Well off, and West with quick hands. So Mark West with 2 fouls stays in the game. Johnson.
There's where Kenny Smith can help his team by challenging Kevin Johnson, trying to make him make a tough shot.
And the foul will be on Smith, and they'll send Kevin Johnson to the line. Smith with his first foul. Fans thought there was a sizable bump out at the perimeter line. That was not called. So
as long as, you know, there's contact and it doesn't take away the advantage of the offensive player, it's probably not going to be called. And in that case, it wasn't. Kevin Johnson was still able to continue on and get in the lane. He is the guy right now that is keeping the Phoenix Suns in the ball game. He did that huge second half, trying to make sure he keeps his team in contact as Houston is playing with some confidence in Game 4.
Oliver Miller in for Mark West, and Kevin Johnson gets his own missed shot. Inside to Sabalas underneath. He is indeed slippery. 12-11, the Houston lead. Maxwell loses the handle, but gets it back out to Smith over Marley. Rattles out. Barkley clears to KJ. 2-on-3. No numbers there, so Johnson pulls it back out to Barkley. Spots up for three, and then gives it to Sabalas. Working the baseline. Cedric Sabalas. Phoenix reclaims the lead. Oh, and now Sabalas. A technical foul called by Steve Janvey. For taunting, apparently. Kenny Smith will shoot the technical. A point to tie at 13.
If the crowd hasn't arrived, they just arrive after this terrific pass from Charles Barkley to Cedric Sabalas, thundering down, and then something to say, and gets in the face of Robert Horry, and the officials are not going to allow that to happen. Now, this hasn't happened a lot in the West, but it has happened a lot in the East, and it's a carryover, and they're trying to control any kind of conversation out on the floor. Kenny Smith picks up the foul.
So Smith picks up the offensive foul from Phoenix. Let's go to New York.
Delay of game warning is charged against the Rockets since the first.
Thank you, Bob. The missed shot by the Suns, and Thorpe pulls it in for the Rockets. A long pass is too long for Vernon Maxwell. Gives us a chance to comment on the Indiana Pacers snapper. You've talked all season long that that's really a team under Larry Brown ready to emerge as a force, and you feel no matter against whom, Chicago or New York, they'd match up well.
They will play and play very well with either one of those teams. They have the best record since the break, and they're doing something they never did before, which is play as a team. They've always played as individuals, and they've had some great individual offensive players, but now they have the total package.
Barkley to Marley off the window. Barkley offensive rebound and pulls his way in. He has 4, and it's a 15-12 Phoenix lead at the 4:39 mark. Vernon Maxwell, it won't drop it. Olajuwon with a rebound and a putback. Hakeem with 6 to lead the Rockets. This game has a certain desperate sense about it. Houston knows with a win, they go home. Best 2 or 3 home court advantage. Marley rattles in a tray. The man who scored more threes than anyone in NBA history gets his first today. Elijah Wan and Oliver Miller up his back.
One of the things that Kenny Smith must try to do is take advantage of a mismatch. Marley was guarding him. He set up. He could have gone right by Dan Marley, gone to the rim, and if he missed, Elijah Wan would have been there.
Third team foul on the Suns. Rockets with only 2 here in the first quarter. 4 minutes remaining. Smith flirts with the 3 and now takes Marley. Sets up Horry's 15-footer. 18-16 Phoenix. Barkley spots up the tray. And Horry with a rebound as Olajuwon goes down holding his head. May have taken an elbow. The Rockets playing 4 against 5, and Horry calls time, 22nd timeout, and that's a concerned bench that walks over to their fallen star. Let's see what happens as he battled for the rebound with Cedric Ceballos of Phoenix.
Going up, and the hand comes down right in the face of Olajuwon, and he immediately goes to the floor. This is one of those inadvertent plays where he was trying to get up, and Ceballos was coming down and caught him right across the face. And the Houston fans, they can't stand to see this 3 times because Olajuwon has been the heart, the soul, the stabilizing force of that franchise. He seems to be at least conscious, but he's very, very groggy and very slow to get up. It's like he's been knocked out.
He's had some fractures of his facial bones and been rendered unconscious before, and he's like a fighter being led back to the corner after taking a vicious hit at the bell. And the other part of all of that sequence, we show it back in slow motion, and it purifies it somewhat. I mean, the violent blow is missed somewhat by the fact that by slowing it down. Not that I'm into the violence, but now you see, boom, he really gets a blow there. You recall that Bill Cartwright a couple of years ago broke the high orbit, the bones of Hakeem with an elbow. Kenny Smith right on target with a 3, and that gives Houston the lead 19-18.
Usually when a great player goes down, the other players try to step up. We'll find out whether the Rockets do. When Olajuwon is out of the game, either foul trouble, they try to go to their pick and roll game with Otis Thorpe. We'll find out whether they set up for Otis Thorpe.
Carl Herrera has replaced Olajuwon, and he's open. Barkley lets him shoot, and Herrera hits. 21-18 Rockets.
That's the pick and roll. That time they run it for Herrera, and he came in being offensive minded. Trying to go to Barkley against Herrera. Thorpe steal.
Thorpe on the bounce pass intended for Barkley. Well, the Rockets here in the first quarter picked up from where they left it in game 3. They're playing a terrific game at the offensive end. Barkley with a rebound. Well, was he quick there? He was going to pass out to Marley. Was in midair. Saw Marley covered and got the ball down and avoided the turnover. Ceballos. He has 8 points to lead Phoenix. 21-20. Houston. As we approach the 2-minute mark here in the first quarter. And a timeout taken. 2:10 left. The Hakeem still on the bench.
Okay. All right. Dick was right. He did have that shattered eye socket in his left eye a couple years ago, but it didn't hit that area. So I'll just clarify what Dick said, because he was right on with that. Hit with an elbow in the nose, and he's going to be fine.
It wasn't any trying to over it, because watching it looks like, gee, it didn't look like he got hit that hard,
Whose elbow was it? Who did he
there's
collide
no
with?
blood or anything, though.
Ceballos, okay.
Ever clever, man. Oh, Big Wally. That's why last night, you left and the door never opened and shut. Now, how did you get out of that room? How did you do it last night?
Yeah, anytime he gets hit in the face, it's they panic. They could end his career.
Boy, they really got the signs here, don't they?
But you like something. You like that atmosphere.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a long fourth quarter, huh? Keep track of the guard scoring, total guard scoring.
Yeah, Maxwell hasn't gotten on the map yet. Dream is coming back.
Oh, there's Sugar.
Welcome back to America West Arena. I'm Hannah Storm. There was just a collective sigh of relief on the Rockets bench as the injury to Hakeem Olajuwon is not serious. It seems that he merely took a Cedric Sabalas elbow in the nose, knocked him a little dizzy, but he should be able to re-enter the game. Nick?
All right, Hannah, indeed, there he is. Olajuwon returns. Here, Sabalas with that right forearm right across the bridge of the nose. Olajuwon really felt the pain and was woozy, but he's back in, and of course a key to the success of this Houston season.
Well, he seems still a bit foggy and dazed, and we'll find out whether he has a fighter's resiliency and can play in that daze until he finally gets his head cleared and become a force out on the floor. Thorpe on the pick and roll.
And it's Olajuwon. The presence felt immediately. 23-20 Houston. Sam Cassell has come in, the rookie guard for Houston, and Marley is out for Phoenix, replaced by A.C. Green, who's playing with a bandaged right thumb, a very sore thumb that has affected his shooting in the series, especially the free throws. Kevin Johnson can't get it to roll, and Olajuwon, Cassell with Barkley, and Barkley able to distract enough to deny the basket.
Maxwell took a shot from A.C. Green, and he's looking for that hitman that ran by and clipped him in the head. But Charles Barkley wanted to make Sam Cassell go a little bit further under the hoop than he could lay it in. And you see him then get away. He's got no place, no angle to get the shot. So he wanted that little bit of edge in terms of being out of control. He got it against Sam Cassell.
Willis Thorpe at 6'10". Tough defender on Barkley. Inside, great pass, blocked by Olajuwon, recovered by Cassell. Oh no, it's Maxwell who brings it in. Here's the other fellow without any hair, Cassell. over Oliver Miller, and Sam Cassell from Florida State. His contribution to the Rockets as the season developed, growing and growing, and he's been tough in the playoffs. Indiana makes it a 3-1 lead over Atlanta, 102-86, and as that one will shift for Game 5 down to the Omni in Georgia.
Huge win for the Indiana Pacers, a team that never made it past the first round, and they have a big edge and a chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know that Indiana is going crazy.
With a travel call, and Houston a 5-point lead has it with 46.6 seconds left in the opening quarter.
The one thing that the Phoenix Suns want to try to preserve, which they didn't in the championship round, is a home court advantage. They lost the championship here at home. They all remember that, and Houston is a team that's capable of winning this afternoon.
Cassell starts it all, and Maxwell inside the line. He's still looking for his first basket. Long pass to Barkley. Incomplete. 20.5 seconds, so the Rockets can milk the clock and take the final shot. Maxwell 0 for 5, and Barkley not hot either.
They did everything right except make the shot, and Miller had the right idea, but too much of a lead for Barkley. And he crashes into that second row.
Marley returning in the final seconds of this opening quarter.
Pick and roll with Thor.
Cassell takes the shot. Rebound Sabalas. Here come the Suns. Last shot of the quarter. At the end of the first quarter here at the America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, the Houston Rockets leading the Phoenix Suns 25-20. We welcome those of you who have watched the first game of our triple header as the Indiana Pacers have moved up 3 games to 1 over the Atlanta Hawks 102-86. The Rockets' biggest lead is celebrated at the end of the quarter. 5 points. Hakeem Olajuwon, injured earlier, has returned to make his contribution. We have the second quarter coming up. All right. How about that? Phoenix's biggest lead was 4, 18-14.
Suns fans still have time to enter to win a Suns Cruise and Disney package donated by Premier Cruise Line. Drop off your entry forms at the 2 tables located on the lower level of the arena in the food court and at the south end.
Yeah. Okay.
we got to have new stuff now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're helping off Cedric Ceballos. They're really concerned about him because he's hurting them in the paint. And they're also trying to keep KJ out of the paint, pick him up a little bit earlier around the three-point line, and not let him penetrate as deep.
Welcome back to the America West Arena. Both teams looked at tapes the last 2 days. Rudy Tomjanovich took the Rockets back to a game in the regular season where they beat Phoenix and showed them how well they played when they beat Phoenix as an inspiration after losing the first 2 at home of the playoffs. And Paul Westphal showed the tape of Game 3 where he wanted to point out all the mistakes made by his Suns in the second half.
The stagnant part of the game is what Rudy Tomjanovich is trying to eliminate, and they were stagnant in that possession. They just dropped it into Olajuwon, and that allowed the defense of the Suns to take hold.
Amy Ainge makes his first appearance. If this game were in Houston, you would have known it from a crowd reaction. Joe Klein also in for the first time. Kevin Johnson from outside hits the 3. Johnson, who had 38 on Friday night, has 8 today.
Kevin Johnson not noted as a three-point shooter, and I'm sure that Rudy Tomjanovich will live with him trying that shot. That keeps him out of the lane, and the penetration keeps other people from being involved.
Olajuwon's missed, rebounded by Marley. Got a lot of three-point shooters out there for Phoenix. It's a small lineup for Paul Westphal. AC Green fouled by Carl Herrera, a little too much into the face of the former Oregon State star.
Kevin Johnson is noted for his penetration. Notice how much distance Sam Cassell has given him. So he just says, if you're going to give me that, I'll get a little dribble and rhythm. The results will be a three-point field goal. So Kevin Johnson, again, playing like he did in Game 3, and he's going to make sure his team stays close.
Green's first chance to score, and he's That right thumb heavily managed. Remember game 2, he missed an inordinate number of free throws. It was bothering him then, and even more so after game 3, so heavily taped today. Chris Gent makes an appearance, the rookie from Ohio State, picked up by the Rockets mid-April out of the CBA. Tied at 25.
Rockets don't have ball in Mario Ellie, and they try to trap on him whenever they can. Good pick and roll. Herrera can't hang on to it.
Olajuwon, the only starter on the floor for the Rockets, and Kevin Johnson.
He's annoyed. He had a play, and he was ready to take off, and Paul Westphal was yelling at him, and he really didn't like it. He said, I got the play, and I don't think that was it.
Harley's 3, rebounded by Klein. KJ. Ooh, that's a tough pass inside, and Klein rolls it in. Joe Klein gives Phoenix the lead. That was a good catch by Klein. He was handcuffed. Olajuwon. Mario Ellie, who played for George Karl at Albany in the CBA, and credits him with getting back into the NBA. Hits the 3, and it's 28-27 Houston.
And the Rockets had to go just about 2 minutes before they got their first score. But Cassell has to get up on Kevin Johnson and try to force him one way or the other.
Klein from 16 feet over Olajuwon. Has 4 quick points off the bench.
That's Klein's shot. He likes to face the basket, shoots a jump shot from the top of the key end.
Elliott was hit in the face by Danny Ainge at the final seconds of game 3 with a high hard one. Herrera with a running hook, and Olajuwon flies in to score. Hakeem Olajuwon now with 10 to lead all scorers. Starting well out on the court as this play develops, and Cassell with his hands full as Johnson gets a pick from Klein. It's a 2. Now they trade leads, and now it's Phoenix ahead by 1, and Johnson leads them with 10.
Mario Ellie is one of those guys that's either going to drive all the way or he's going to park on the line for a 3-point shot. They're coming inside to Olajuwon. Big adjustment on the shot.
Olajuwon with that head fake and great feet for a big man. Houston back in front.
Any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Was that fast? I thought that was fast.
Mel Gibson. Whoop! There we go. Jodie Foster. James Garner. Maverick. A Richard Donner film. Rated PG. Starts Friday, May 20th.
Okay, Light Ice presents the new rules on work. From now on, the word work will be changed to the word play. As in, honey, I gotta go to play today. I'll be home after lunch. Starting today, comfort is key. Ties are out. The only wingtips I want to see better be headed for a dartboard. Anyone using catchy office lingo like FYI and ASAP will be tossed OUT-PDQ. Hey, let's celebrate with new rules on beer. The folks who brought Taste of Light have now brought Light to Ice. New Light Ice from Miller. A taste with more of what you want and less of what you don't. Oh, by the way, when interviewing candidates of equal stature, the job always goes to the person who completes the perfect windmill jam. Sorry, that's the rule.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right.
Back at the America West Arena, Charles Barkley rested the final minute of the first quarter and still on the bench. 2 for 6 start. He scored only 2 points the entire second half of game 3. He said the key today, aggression.
I think today should be aggression at all cost. Because I think the Rockets played like that the other night, where they had to win or the series was over. And I think it's very important. I'm not saying the series is over if we lose this game today, but it starts over 0-0 instead of us having any advantages whatsoever. We need to win today. We need to win today.
And he says, I'll take him on my shoulders. He also had some comments about Scottie Pippen, his teammate on the Olympic team, and we'll have that for you a bit later. There's Barkley's game 1 Game 2, Game 3, and today it's no score in the fourth quarter of Game 3, and it really ain't gnawed at him for the last 2 days. Olajuwon, but Jet gets the rebound and a second chance. Did he step out of bounds? No, a foul is called along the baseline on Joe Klein, his second. Talk about a dream coming true. How about this Chris Jet? Not drafted out of Ohio State, where he was a teammate of Jimmy Jackson, the top pick of Dallas. 2 years in the CBA, this season with Columbus, and now here he is playing for a chance to go to the Western Finals.
And it was not playing at all until a Portland series, and in Game 4 up there, got a chance to play, and Rudy is not afraid to come to him. He has the ability to score. Olajuwon now beginning to heat up. He's got 6 1/4, and Joe Klein is yelling, help. Get me some help, guys.
Well, that's a 4-point trip for Olajuwon. He got the 2, and then on the missed free throw, the rebound, and Olajuwon cashed in another. Klein takes it to the hole. Joe Klein with 6. 34-33, Houston.
Huge bonus for Paul Westphal with Klein getting 6, and particularly on that last effort driving to the hoop. Joe putting the ball on the floor, something he rarely does.
Vassell, the rookie, pulls up and hits the short jumper over Kevin Johnson. Reminder again, at stake for Houston. If they can win this way after losing 2 at home, they go back to Houston with a home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Marley gets away with a little push. Green against Herrera. It goes over the top to the Rockets. 36-33.
Notice how coaches are never satisfied. You're getting the ball back. Rudy said, how about the push? How about the push? You want to shoot some free throws.
Well, they faced Rudy early in Game 3 when they were down by 14 points. He looked like a man who was afraid to go home because his own dog had bite him. Boy, his team played so well to win. It was a courageous victory for the Rockets. Cassell.
One of the reasons is Sam Cassell, a very courageous player. He has shown a lot of heart and courage, challenged Kevin Johnson off the dribble, and they got some inside points coming from Sam.
And that matches the biggest lead of the game for the Rockets, 5 at 38-33.
What makes this play possible, Kevin Johnson thinks that he's going to go to the corner and drop it back inside. He goes all the way for 2.
In 2 weeks, the world's greatest tennis players hold court at the sport's most grueling Grand Slam, the French Open, presented by Fresca. Coverage begins May 28th on NBC.
Welcome back to the middle game of our NBC triple header, and coming up next, the New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing down the stretch in Game 3 looked as if he was going to win it and make it 3-0. Scottie Pippen not there at the final bell. It'll be interesting to see how the Chicago Stadium audience greets their star player for Game 4 as the Bulls try to even it at 2-all. That's to follow the action from Phoenix.
Barkley's back in the game, and Westphal has gone small. AC Green will guard Olajuwon.
Green with a good fake, takes it in. 38-35 Houston, 4 points for Green. Paul Westphal calls his most valuable player this year.
They have to make AC Green prove that he can beat them from the three-point line. That time they ran at him, made a mistake. Green made a mistake. He looked the other way, and Olajuwon spun in and picked up the foul. AC Green parked on the line. Now they got to make him make that shot. That breaks down the defense, and he's able to get by everybody and score 2.
Went to the other end and slapped the ball away from Olajuwon, but picked up his first foul. Jet and Vassell, 2 rookies in the backcourt now for the Houston Rockets. Ravelli, a 3-guard or a small forward. Danny Ainge.
Ainge gave up his advantage. He wanted to get the ball to AC Green, who had Chris Jet on his hip. Now they're working against the clock. Thorpe against Ainge.
Ainge with 5 on the clock. It won't fall, and Ellie back the other way for the Houston Rockets, who lead by 3, midpoint of the second quarter. Jet, a good outside shooter at 6'7". Barkley with a rebound. He has 6. KJ. Both teams in a cold stretch. Ellie waits for help.
Olajuwon, and they waited for the right man. He has been the hammer for them. Cassell said, "Where are you, big fella?" He said, "I'm coming." And spun away from AC Green. He's got 8 in the quarter.
And he's 8 for 11 from the floor.
Barkley trying to get it going, make the double team come to him. They're going to get a foul against Otis Thorpe, hand checking.
First foul on Thorpe, who fouled out of game 2. Was critical in that comeback for Phoenix.
Rudy Tomjanovich, he shows a lot of reaction. He's saying, "Chris, please." One time. Oh.
Rudy Tomjanovich and his counterpart Paul Westphal, both their numbers retired as players for these teams. Another bump, and Thorpe has picked up 2 fouls in a matter of 3 seconds.
Thorpe did the right thing the first time by, holding his ground, but he didn't let Barkley move, so he was guilty of body checking Barkley. You got to make Barkley beat you from the outside.
Johnson flying by Cassell. What an effort by KJ. 40-37, it's Houston in front. The 3 by Vernon Maxwell, and he finally has his first points of this game. And the biggest lead of the game for either team, 6.
Barkley's going to try to make something happen. If it's the 3rd foul against Thorpe, we'll draw the double team, and in this case, he gets an illegal defense.
Got the rookie Cassell out of position. Cassell, who at Florida State played with Bob Sura, and Charlie Ward, the Heisman Award winner, was his backup for the Seminoles. Barkley, strong move, and he gets the foul. Cassell reaching in. First on him.
Now that's vintage Charles Barkley. He didn't wait for the double team. He didn't do anything. He caught it, took that quick first step, was into the middle. Sam Cassell thought he got a block on that one. Looked like he made a good play on the ball, but the whistle goes for Barkley.
And Phoenix now will be shooting the penalty. The Suns have 3 team fouls, have 1 to give. 4:17 left. That's his 5th point of the game. Barkley, who flirted with the all-time playoff record against Golden State in the high 50s. 56.
Hyde, Chamberlain, and a bunch. We've called 3 or 4 of the guys a bunch of other people at 56.
He's just too tired to go after Michael. 4-point game. Cassell against Marley. Olajuwon has it batted away by Green to KJ to Barkley. Green with the left hand, and Barkley avoided the charge. He knew that his path was cut off, pulled up, took an awkward shot. Green on the other side to nail it.
Now there's the value of AC Green, working without the basketball. They come back to Olajuwon.
And Marley gets a piece of that, deflects it out of bounds.
In transition, the Phoenix Suns are amongst the best in the NBA at converting. Barkley moving away from Thorpe, and Green right there to tip it in. 8 on the shot clock for the Houston Rockets.
Otis Thorpe from outside, and he drains it. Thorpe, a quiet first half, has his 4th point.
Well, if you're in Houston, if you see that shot go in, you say, we're going to win the game. Otis Thorpe very rarely makes a shot that far out on the floor.
Barkley challenges Olajuwon, no foul.
Olajuwon came across at the last second to make him make that adjustment, but Barkley is not settling for jump shots in this second quarter. He's trying to get inside.
Thorpe underneath the basket, just didn't have enough room to get it off. And it's Marley for Phoenix. Suns trail by 4. Green beats him down court, scores, and he's fouled. No foul. Apparently no foul. And that gets the Phoenix crowd on its feet as the Suns pull within 2.
What makes this play possible, Olajuwon is slow getting down. You can see him way back in the picture, and AC Green said, if you are going to hold us up at the other end of the floor, I'm going to beat you back the other way. No shot blocking involved there.
Coming up next, the NBA playoffs continue on NBC. Despite a thrilling fourth-quarter comeback by Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, Tony Kukoc's buzzer beater sealed a victory for the Bulls in Game 3. A Chicago win today would even the series. The Knicks and the Bulls in prime time. Coming up next.
Let it roll next on NBC.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, I'll bring you the conversation I had earlier today with Knicks point guard Derek Harper. He's been suspended for today's game with the Bulls, as well as Game 5 on Wednesday back in New York. And take a look at this scene. Very unusual. The Bulls practiced today about 3 hours before game time. There's Scottie Pippen sitting on the basket support. Phil Jackson, assistant coach Johnny Bach. Actually not a hard practice, a walkthrough, but on the day of the game. So we'll talk about the Bulls and Knicks at halftime, and we'll review the Pacers' 16-point win over the Hawks, which gives Indiana a 3-1 lead in that series. Right now, back to America West, where the Rockets lead the Suns by 2. Dick Enberg and Steve Jones.
All right, Bob, and this really a lot at stake. Phoenix feels a win today, and I only have to win one more, and they've got the home court advantage in Houston with a great season, earning home court, and then with Seattle's upset having home court throughout, knows that a victory today would get them back on course.
A key with this unit out on the floor, Horry, Smith, and Maxwell has been their movement and direction to the basket. Right now, defense by Danny Ainge gets a foul against Robert Horry.
Horry trying to spin away from Ainge's defense, got the elbows high and picks up his second.
As he picks up his dribble, he's trying to get some room to clear the pass, and Danny Ainge is in the way, and we got a technical foul.
A technical foul is been assessed to Houston Rockets head coach
Rudy Tomjanovich didn't like the call. Rudy, who's now 45, and his number 45, retired by Houston. And his thought was that Ainge is all on top of him. You're going to get some of those, and Ainge is good at acting out the blow.
Tomjanovich, a violent reaction over there from the sideline, and immediately caught the ears of the official, which got the technical. Danny Ainge makes that.
Whoa! Barkley's crossbar pass to Ainge, too tall. Barkley with 6 points today. That means he has only 8 points in nearly 4 quarters. When you go back to the second half, 2-point total on Game 3. Inside Olajuwon.
If Olajuwon goes right away against AC Green, he's going to get the shot away. He can't gamble in the back as he just did, because that turns Phoenix loose in transition.
Horry steal by Horry. Takes it away from Marley. 2 minutes. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Houston in front by 1. Horry for 3. Big guy at 6'10" out of Alabama. Can he shoot the threes?
And Rudy has really encouraged him to shoot the three. And when he does it, he takes him out of the game and reminds him that's part of their game. And the team that makes the threes has been the team that has won. In Game 2, it was Phoenix big, and the Houston Rockets won in Game 3.
Speaking of threes, and with the most in playoff history, Ainge misses on that one. 4-point Houston lead. Minute 20 to go in the half. See, the Rockets hitting 50% from outside, and this man inside hasn't missed many either. And that's the biggest lead again, matched at 6 points for Houston.
10 in the quarter, and what Westfall is hoping is that the activity of AC Green will neutralize the strength and the inside play of Olajuwon.
Marley had to shoot it in a hurry as Maxwell came flying at him, and Green has it stripped away. Kenny Smith to Horry on the follow, and Danny Ainge denied the easy basket. Foul on Ainge.
Nobody is really as good as Robert Horry in covering ground from the three position in terms of getting the ball to the dunk. Danny Ainge was aware of that, grabbed him by the arm, so Horry will get a chance to shoot a couple of free throws, but since he's come back into the game, he's been aggressive at the offensive end.
22nd timeout called by Phoenix with a 6-point Rocket lead, and Horry about to go to the line. Robert Horry with a big first half, perfect from the floor, the son of an Army veteran, 22 years of service.
he's been steady in this series. I think Rudy Tomjanovich would like him to be more aggressive as he was in the Portland series. In particular, in game 4 up there in Portland, he had a big game.
24 points, career high.
And you know, he's capable of that, but he's a reluctant offensive player, very much a team player, and I think that's one of the reasons that it was easy for Rudy to get him back on course after being traded and the trade canceled. He's going to do whatever it takes, and Rudy's been able to make him feel welcome once again, because, you know, when you get traded, you don't feel like they want you.
That's one of the remarkable job that Rudy Tomjanovich has done this year. Not only the great start, 15-0 and 22-1 off the top of the season, but that's the kind of move mid-year when it doesn't work out that can destroy the whole morale of your team. And he was able to push through it with his solid relationship with his team. Story from that Bama club that had Latrell Sprewell and James Hollywood Robinson, both of them also #1 draft picks, as was Ori. And that sends the Rockets to their biggest cushion, 7 points. 48 seconds to go.
Well, we know no cushion is a good cushion. 14 wasn't good enough for the Suns. 18 and 20 wasn't good enough for the Rockets. So maybe they need cone heads and everything else to get the job done.
Ori perfect on his 2 tosses, and it's 52-44.